the ocean, to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news.
Welcome to Atlantic Television Network Society Watch. This is a program where we ventilate societal issues, give them aggregate attention with a view to provide solutions that will benefit humanity. And today's Society Watch will be starting with road safety. FRC introduced app to combat accidents. On weather, FG predicts 5 days heavy rainfall in 21 states. On inflation, government attributes fuel price hike to delegation. On erosion, government said 5.6 billion spent on flooding control. On insecurity, we are not afraid to die. That's from Bello Turji. These are the issues we'll be looking at today. When we return from this short break, I will introduce my guests. So remember that you can join us on all our media platforms, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X Atlantic TV Net. You can also watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. We return after this break. If you're just joining me, this is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network. Thank you, Mr. Martins James C., for joining me on today's conversation. It's good having you on set.
Thank you for having me on set. Good afternoon, Nigerians, Africans, and the rest of the world.
All right, so let's look at the first story for today. On road safety, Federal Road Safety Corps of Nigeria has introduced a new mobile app and the National Crash Reporting Information System to improve road safety and manage road traffic crashes. Launched in Abuja, the initiative was praised by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, as part of the ongoing digital transformation in road safety. Between January 2024, road crashes caused 7,857 people, prompting the need for urgent action. The new tools aim to raise awareness of road safety, reduce accidents, and improve data management. The app will provide alerts on speeding, dangerous driving, and vehicle documents verification, crash reporting, and data storage. The FRSC Corps Marshal cites the importance of digitalizing FRSC operations and Tinubu's digital transformation agenda. The chairman of the House of Committee on FRSC, Abiodun Adesida, commended the app real-time traffic update and accident alerts, a noted effort to amend the FRSC Act to modernize the agency. All right, Mr. Martins, it is good news here that the Federal Road Safety Corps of Nigeria has introduced a new mobile app with and a national crash reporting information system to combat road crashes initiatives, because with this transformation agenda, they will be able to detect any vehicle that is overspeeding. But I'm wondering, is this going to be something that will be installed in a vehicle? Well, that is not known yet. What exactly, how are the initiatives, or just for the meantime?
One, the Federal Road Safety Commission is a good one on you. The country, the continent, and the globe is going in the line of tech, so it's a good one. However, I have some reservations about it, because just like you rightly asked, are they going to be installed in vehicles or on the streets, or how are we going to manage it? Now, I will be bold to say that most of the Federal Road Safety Commission, the average driver is going to see this as just another plot by Federal Road Safety Commission to extort them, because I've seen a lot of things on the road. But then it should be, if not, it should be a long-term plan, because these things, when drivers know that the Federal Road Safety Commission is using tech to track speed, drivers will start managing themselves better, because a lot of the accidents on the road and a lot of the deaths that arrive, injuries and maiming, result from overspeeding. Nigerians are in a hurry. So I believe, on the one hand, the mentality that the Federal Road Safety Commission is monitoring the activities on the road with technology is a welcome. It should be for the long run. Now, there's an app that is going to bring up reports and all those things, fine and good. But then there should also be a scale-up plan. It should be, this is my field now, so permit me to use some technical terms. There should be a scale-up plan. This should be like the entry point, and within 3 to 5 years, we should be having speed detectors installed on our highways and on the roads. And hopefully, this kind of initiative will engage Federal Road Safety Corps members and dissuade them from checking for papers. I don't think the papers that they are checking for is helping us as far as road safety is concerned. I'm not saying that drivers should not be checked. for the correctness of their papers. But when I say papers right now, I believe that some Nigerians that are listening to me, they know there are certain papers that these people check for, and drivers are afraid of them on the road. When drivers see them, they tend to get in a hurry. So hopefully, engaging the people, giving them proper orientation on tech, and engaging them in technology is going to cut down on the need for some of those things. There's now should be a digital platform where these papers should be uploaded, so that when a vehicle is approaching or a vehicle approaches and the Federal Road Safety Corps members see the license plate of the vehicle, it should be sufficient information to gather whatever papers you want to gather on the driver to add information. So it's a good one. Let us scale it up and let us get better from here.
All right, thank you so much. And then let's look at the next story for today. States affected on weather. The federal government has predicted heavy rainfall for 5 days from September 4 to 8, 2024, which may lead to floodings in 21 states and 123 locations across Nigeria. The National Flood Early Warning System Center of the Federal Ministry of Environment issued the warning urging communities downturn of the River Benue to evacuate due to rising water level. States affected include Adamawa, Benue, Bauchi, Kogi, Borno, Nasarawa, Gombe, Kwara, Jigawa, Oyo, Kaduna, Edo, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Plateau, Niger, Sokoto, Taraba, Yobe, and Zamfara. Communities in these areas are at risk of floodings from the predicted rainfall. Mr. Martin, the authority have warned that due to the increasing water level of the Niger River Benue, communities downturn from Makurdi are advised to evacuate. Yeah, we know that a lot of communities were flooded in time past, and it affected a lot of farmlands, houses, and businesses, a whole lot. But now they have come up again with this warning that about 21 states is at risk. So they should evacuate their communities and also their comfort zone. But where exactly is the government expecting them to move to at this moment?
Well, a reactive government would tell you to evacuate. A proactive government would prepare an evacuation plan for people. So that's my direct take on that question, because it is a great thing that the government has, through the meteorological offices, predicted this rising water, the rainfall coming, and is a good thing. They said if you're forewarned, you're forearmed. All right. So okay. It's a collaborative responsibility. 21 states is a lot. There are just 36 of them in Nigeria. If you win majority in 21 states in Nigeria, you probably win the presidency of Nigeria, right? So 21 states is a lot of states. We're talking about a lot of people here. Now, we've had IDP situations in a couple of, over the years, in a couple of places. Some of them are still technically there. People are still in IDP camps, and most of the reasons, many times why people go to camps, is insecurity and related issues. So I am encouraging the government of the day, the government of these 21 states identified, and of course the federal government of Nigeria, to not just encourage people to evacuate. A lot of the people in these communities are, there's this phrase we use when we want to share palliatives in Nigeria, the poorest of the poor. A lot of these people are the poorest of the poor. The house where you're asking them to evacuate from is not even the most conducive of houses, but it's what they have. So where are they going?
But Mr. Martin,
yeah,
this is not just affecting the vulnerables, or should we call it the poor, like you said, or the average. This is a natural disaster that is going to, I mean, everyone that, those around these communities that will be affected are actually vulnerable?
My concern is mostly to the poorest of the poor, because better to do people will sort themselves out. I know that the government intervention will be for everybody, but let's assume that government does not intervene. Better people to do, people that are of better capacity will sort themselves out. They will evacuate and go to a comfortable place. Most higher echelon individuals in the society don't stay in IDP camps. Some of them can afford hotel accommodations in better places. Some of them can afford to rent apartments and move themselves. There are those who cannot, right? And those are the people who will require the IDP camp. My message is, let an IDP camp be set up, or preparations for such a camp, evacuation arrangements should be made, so that those who can sort themselves out will sort themselves out, but those who cannot should have a place waiting for them to go. Because it is not enough to say evacuate. The better thing to do is, the floods are coming, rains are coming, we're expecting it to happen between this time and this time. So from 7th of September to 17th of September, if you live around this area, please show up here, bring your ID card for identification, or whatever the means will be, so that we can start sorting people out. Because when the rains come and all heavens break loose, we know that Nigerians will wait. They will want to see it happen. Some people will not move until the houses are almost submerged. And then there will be a crisis. There will be a lot of people coming out at the same time. It becomes more difficult to manage. But if we set up a plan now, if 21 governors, independently of themselves or collectively, set up a plan now, I believe we can afford to clear out some bushes. I hope we don't use 19 billion to clear the bushes this time around, but we'll be able to clear out some places, set up some reasonable camps, private sector participation, federal government participation, so that by the time the floods come, it will eventually destroy parties, because it is natural disaster. But let's take lives out first. I don't want to hear full-up news that people lost their lives to floods in these states, in these communities, so that we can take care of the lives, move as much of the properties as we can. If the flood does not happen, fine, we go back. But happens, we should be better prepared. Government has warned, is great. Now let us use the warning to build a blueprint for which we will.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Martins. Let's look at the next story for today on inflation. Nigerian government denied responsibility for the recent petrol price increase, stating that the industry is deregulated and prices are not fixed by the government. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Senator Heniken Lakobiri, emphasized after a meeting with the Vice President Kashim Shettima that the availability of petrol will stabilize price. He reassured Nigerians that the government is empathetic to their hardship and is working to ensure product availability across the country by the weekend. The government expects the market to determine the price once supply improves. All right, here we go again. Senator Eniken Lakobiri, Minister of State Petroleum Resources, said the federal government is not responsible for the recent petrol price increase across the country, that the industry had been deregulated. And I'm wondering, does it mean that the federal government is not aware of what is going on and they are directly involved in this? Because if they are saying, according to Lakobiri, the senator said that governments are not the one putting this price tag. They are not the...
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, I'm there.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Oh. Can you hear me?
I can.
All right. Mr. Martins, we were talking about inflation before the short interruption. And like I said, the senator has come up to say something. Senator Lackberry has come up to say that the federal government is not responsible for the recent petrol price. What could be the cause of this if the federal government is not aware? And then who is responsible for this?
Well, the federal government when Senator Lokobiri would not come to make any statements if they are not aware of what's happening. Now, the statement says that they are not responsible for the hike in price. Well, Senator Lokobiri, sir, the federal government is responsible for managing the hike in price. So the government is a continuum. So it does not matter whose administration carried out any act. If it is beneficial to the government. If it is detrimental, it is equally detrimental to the government. The government of Nigeria deregulated the oil sector. It was the government of Nigeria that did it. And the government of Nigeria is announcing through the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources that the sector is deregulated. We're not responsible for price. Well, you're responsible for managing. If the regulation is not working, what are you presenting that should work? Besides, the last time we talked about fuel, I told you I bought for 70. We 1,400 naira today. 1,400 naira. It's less than 14 days. So all these things, all these statements, it strikes Nigerians as carefree statements, so to say, because right now we're not looking for what the problem is. We're feeling it already. We're not looking for whose fault is it. We don't care. Nigerians don't care whose fault it is. Bringing up people now and sentencing them to death hanging for causing a hike in fuel will not change the fact that fuel prices are unacceptable in Nigeria.
Mr. Martins, right? Mr. Martins, if Senator Lackberry said that the federal government is not responsible for this hike in fuel, does it mean that the federal government is not aware of what is happening in Nigeria? And why is it taking them more than 24 hours to be able to rectify this if they are aware and they are not responsible?
You're talking about, excuse me, you're talking about 24 hours. I just told you that we bought for 1,400 naira as opposed to 970 the other day. So it's not a thing of being aware. The federal government of Nigeria is aware. For Senator Lokobiri to come out to say, make the statement, it shows that the government is aware. This is just like you come to your house and you ask two children, what were you doing in the kitchen? And one of them says, I did not eat the meat. If you go and there's missing meat, which of the two will you suspect? The one who is aware that the meat is missing, or the one who did not say anything about meat? For Senator Lokobiri to make this statement about the hike in fuel prices, they are aware. The problem is that I don't know if I can do anything about it at this point, because we've been watching the drama, unnecessary drama. We've been watching the drama with the Nigerian-owned refineries. One of them very close to this place in River State. What's happening there? Can those resources not be used to turn the story of the Nigerian petroleum system around? Do we really need people at the helm of affairs, a minister coming out to say we did not cause it. Do Nigerians really care who caused it? Are we looking for who to blame? If we should line up everybody that caused it, bring up every government official that participated in the deregulation of the oil sector and hang them, is it going to change the price? We need solutions and not complaints. We don't want to hear we're not responsible when we know that the government is responsible for managing the prices. The prices are bad. When this government was coming into power, they promised to do differently. They've done it differently, but this is not the kind of difference that we were looking for. So, Senator Lokobri and the team in the Ministry of Petroleum, of which our president is the Minister for Petroleum, should take the bull by the horn, come back to the drawing board, find out what the problem is, and solve it. They shouldn't find out what the problem. We know what the problem is. Solve the problems and let these prices come down. We need the prices to. We don't need explanations for crying out loud.
All right.
We need prices to come down. We don't want to blame anybody. Senator Lokobri, we're not blaming you. We're not blaming the government. We're saying, government, do what you have to do to bring the prices down. What I'm asking for is a lot of money, 1 liter of fuel.
All right. Thank you so much. Dear Nigerians, I want to bring this to your notice again that Senator Enike Nlakuberi, that's the Minister of State Petroleum Resources, said that the federal government is not responsible for the recent petrol price increase across the country. And I'm wondering who is responsible. That the industry had been deregulated. And Mr. Martin said, that's James Martin, that we are not blaming Nlakuberi, we are not blaming the federal government. We know what the problem is. We don't need explanation. We just want you to fix what has gone wrong. We want you to do what you have to do. What do you think about what Nlakuberi has said? It seems the federal government is not aware of what is even going on in Nigeria. Well, what do you think? All right, the next story. Data from Open Treasury Portal revealed that the Nigerian federal government spent 5.642 billion naira on erosion and flood control in the first half of 2024, despite a budget of 167 billion from the same purpose. Concern has been raised about the government's spending priorities as a review of GovSpend's data showed that 14 billion naira was spent between May and July 2024 on the renovations, honorarium, presidential trips and forest purchases. On July 19, 150 million was spent on presidential trips alone. Meanwhile, flooding has caused 205 deaths and displaced over 225,000 people, raising question about the government's commitment to addressing the crisis. Both federal and state governments have been criticized for neglecting flood and erosion control despite receiving ecological fund. All right, Mr. Martins, I remember when we were talking about the first flood, the first awareness that came up, you said something that you hope that this time they are not going to tell you that they have spent billions of naira trying to control flood. At the end of it, nothing is done about it. But now we have heard it that about 2.5 billion have gone into this flood issues to control. I'm not talking about other expenses like the presidential trip. I'm just talking about the erosion, the flood alone. What do you think about this? If this kind of money has been released and we still have issues of flood submerging houses, think about how this money has been spent. Is it judiciously or is it the normal political issues that have been going on?
It is obviously not judiciously spent. 5.6 billion is a lot of money. If we spent 5.6 billion naira on road, why are Nigerians being told that flood is coming and they should evacuate from 21 states, communities in 21 states? Now, these are some of the questions we should be asking ourselves. Yes, you spent 5.6 billion naira on flood control. Give us the matrix, give us a rundown. See, we're tired of this kind of, I would say it's annoying. Some time ago, Python swallowed money. These kind of things are not making sense in this country. 5.6 billion naira on flood control. What exactly was spent on? What exactly? Did you build a canal? Did you build diversions? Did you dredge? What exactly was 5.6 billion naira spent on? Because Immaculata, I believe you'd agree with me that if we should go to an upland area in any of the states, one of the lands that is just wasting, and we spend 5.6 billion naira on that land, we'll be able to raise a city there. A fast-growing city. How much was spent in 1991 to set up Abuja? And Abuja is growing into the world-class city it is today. How much was spent to set up Abuja? So where did we, in what states, in which state, in which local government, how much was spent in what capacity, what project? See, I'm putting it to you now. You're a member of the press, your colleagues, Nigerian press. Dig into this information and dig into these details and get information for us. Who are these people responsible? Where did you spend the money? How much did you spend? We want to see it's taxpayers' money. Because all this kind of stories are tired. We're tired of hearing 5.6 billion naira to control flood. And then we're waiting for flood to come. And then if we start talking about the spending priorities, it begs the question, do these people really care? You talked about travel. The story about the jet, I think Nigerians are beginning to forget the story about the jet.
Because of fuel.
And yes. And somehow it begins to feel like when Nigerians complain about something, they allow something else to happen to distract us. Because now we're looking for a way to pay transport fare. Fuel is about 1,000 plus. And we're no longer talking about the jets. We're no longer talking about the protests. We're no longer talking about the labor strike. I think this is a categorical attack on Nigerian people.
We'll just follow up to know to know exactly what the federal government would do.
Follow it up, put it on air. We want to see. We want people to come out and tell us how they spent. I hope nobody will faint this time around. Though.
All right.
I hope there will be no unnecessary fire in an office to tell us that data has been consumed. Thank God that Federal Road Safety Commission is now doing things digital.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Martins.
All of Nigeria should do things digital so that fire will not consume or flood will not consume the papers.
Thank you so much.
Nigerian government officials, explain how you're spending these monies.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Martins. And then, of course, we know that flood is a natural disaster that you can't possibly fight. But we have here in a story that the federal government has spent 5.6 billion so far to control flood. And then we are still getting warnings that about 21 states to get ready for this disaster that is coming. And like Martins have actually asked, how many canals did they build to be able to eradicate these issues? I mean, the federal government, they just have to explain how all of this money are being spent, because we can afford to read about it almost every day. At the end of the day, we are still facing the issues, and monies are being spent. We are facing the problem, and we don't know what exactly is going on.
Permit me to put this in. Are the monies really being spent, or are they being embezzled? I'm calling out these people. Come and tell us how it was spent. Otherwise, I put it to you that it is being embezzled. If 5.6 billion naira was spent, we will see the impact of 5.6 billion naira.
Thank you so much, Mr. Martins, for joining me on today's show. It was beautiful having you on set.
Thank you for having me, and I hope Nigerians, I hope you're holding on, because all these things will stop. Immaculata, thank you for the program that you do. Keep bringing up this story. Members of the press, bring this kind of platform will keep people informed and educated. So thank you for having me. Whenever you need me, just call me and I'll be here. I'll lend my opinion. Nigerians, lend your voices so that we can fight this thing out. Be strong. Fuel will not be one to fight forever. It will soon come down.
Thank you so much. Yeah, nothing lasts forever. For right now, it's pressing us. I hope you are coping with the issue of subsidy. Just take your mind off. Everything's going to be fine. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Immaculata Irikana. You can join us on all our media platforms, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, Atlantic TV Net. Join us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Good afternoon.